Hey everyone, over the years we've had some people get a little frustrated with some of the understanding how the tournament works. And in this video we're going to go over briefly how the brackets are designed, how they're set up, so you can understand what might be happening to your child or your student or your friend while they're competing in the various little divisions that we have, wherever it's a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8 person bracket. So we're going to get into those. We'll start with the 3. When we have a 3-person bracket, we'll have number 1, number 2, and number 3, like this. If number 1 goes on to win, 1 goes here, number 2 will drop down to here, and we'll keep it simple. We'll say number 3 wins, 3 will come up here to fight, and if number 3 wins here, number 3 wins. If number 1 wins, number 1 wins. Okay, that's the gold medal match, that's the important one. Occasionally what might happen, and this is where it gets a little confusing and a little frustrating, is number 2 goes down because they lost to fight number 3 who hasn't fought yet. But sometimes number 2 wins. Then number 2 comes back up here, and this can be a little confusing because number 1 already fought number 2, but this is the match that's important. Now if number 1 goes on to win, great, the match is over, it's already happened. If number 2 goes on to win, that is where it gets a little frustrating because number 1 beat number 2 first. But this is the match that's most important, the gold medal match. So if number 2 wins, number 2 wins. Where it can get a little confusing is sometimes, or another place it can get confusing, is number 3 might win, number 3 goes up here, and number 1 wins. Boom. Number 2 has had 2 matches, number 3 has had 2 matches, number 1 has had 2 matches. That works out well. Some people want to do like a round robin style, and a round robin is actually a little bit different in design. What we'll have, the challenge with round robin, we have 1 versus 2, 1 versus 3, and then 2 versus 3. If 1 wins here, and 3 wins here, and 2 wins here, now it gets really confusing about who actually gets the gold medal. Now we could go down to whoever has the most points, or who got the submission, or who got the fastest submission, but we prefer to try and keep it in the division that we had earlier. Now, to make it better for the beginners, for the newer people, or the kids, if 1 fights 2, and 1 wins, and 3 fights 2, and we'll say 2 wins here, and comes back, and this happens, we'll say 1 wins. 3 only got 1 match, and that sucks. So what I like to try and do on the side is 1 and 3 have an exhibition match. 1 will probably win. If 1's doing that well, it'll probably win here, but at least 3 gets another shot at it. So, but this match is purely exhibition. This is not something that's officially on the books, because this is the bracket the way it's designed. Now, moving on, we're going to go to number 4, 4-person division. This is my favorite, of course, because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have the bracket. So if 1 wins here and 3 wins here, we have 2 and 4 down here, whoever wins there, and whoever wins here. 4 is the easiest one. As a promoter, it's the one I most try and set up if possible, because everyone's guaranteed 2 matches for sure. Not like in a 3-person one, it doesn't always happen, but everyone in a 4-person one gets 2 matches unless someone gets hurt or drops out. So 4 is ideal. 4 is the perfect one for me. Next, we're going to 5. Sorry, this is a little bit messed up here. This will go down here. And this is here. Okay. Fix that up. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On a 5-person bracket, you're going to get 3 people that get a bye, and that's the luck of the draw. Occasionally, if there's, say there's 2 or 3 people from the same club, we don't want them to fight to get each other, and that, just to make sense, they fight each other in the mats. We don't want them to fight in that tournament. So if we have somebody from the same club, we might have number 1, number 3, and number 5 from the same club. We're going to split them up. We attempt to give the lightest person the bye. Okay, if there's a bigger weight difference, or if someone's moved up a weight class, we attempt to make that person get the bye. And if I'm doing it personally, that always happens. Sometimes with the computer doing it, setting up things, it doesn't always work that way. But in a 5-person division, this is what we're looking at. When 3 goes on, 3 will go here, 1 goes on, and we'll say 1 wins, we'll say 3 wins, and we'll say 1 wins, just to make it easy. Now, in this case, this is where it gets a little annoying for some people, because number 4 only had 1 match. Now, if we're doing double elimination, number 4 will get another match in the B bracket to fight for 3rd place. If you lose your first match, the best you can do is get 3rd place, okay? With the exception of the 3-man division. So in this instance, 4 lost, 4 would drop down to a B bracket, and that would run in for 3rd place. The rest of this division is finished. Now, if this was single elimination, we'll say for no-gi we do single elimination. I'm sorry, number 4, that's the only match you get for the no-gi. Whereas everyone else, number 1, number 2, and number 5, are pushed a little bit later on the bracket because they get a bye. So there is an advantage for the bye. Typically, if I'm making up a division and I see 5 people that are fairly similar, I'll try to get the people that are a little, maybe if I know they're a little more resilient, a little tougher, I'll put them here to give them some extra practice, extra division, or extra matches. Doesn't always happen that way, but depends. Now, on a 6-person one, it's a little bit easier. Only 2 people are getting the bye in this case, so it's not so bad. Next to 4-man brackets, 6 is the one I would prefer next after that. Just because only 2 people get a bye, it's not terribly so bad. I'm not a big fan of people getting byes into the semifinals, but it happens at the smaller brackets. It has to happen that way. But you get an idea what's going on here. So if 2 advances and then 1 here, 4 advances and 4 goes on again, and we'll say 1. So you get an idea of how the bracket's working. We're gonna do one last one, and that's the 7-man, 7-person. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So in this case, it's not bad. Only 1 person gets the bye. You know, actually, this one works pretty well for an odd number. It works actually quite well. Everything runs the same as normal. Again, if there's a B side, it would be down for the 3rd place match. If it's single elimination, this is the way it's run. The only difference between 7 and 8 is if this is an 8-person division, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So an 8-man bracket works out very, very well because it's all even. Everybody gets the same amount of matches. That's what's great. Now, when it comes to Mind, Body, Soul and the submission series, I am pretty adamant about not having large divisions. Anything over 8 is going to get split up. So if we have 9 people, we're not doing a 9-man division or 9-person division. We're going to do a 5 and a 4. And we'll usually, when we split that up, we're looking at closest weight. Whether there's a natural split. It might be 4 lighter people and 5 heavier or vice versa. So 9 and above, they're all going to get split. The largest division we're going to have is 8. If we start getting into maybe purple belt absolute divisions, where it's a greater number of people and they're experienced and they're advanced and they have that tournament experience, yeah, we're going to definitely do a challenge. If we have 12 purple belts showing up, we're going to do a 12-person division because that's very rewarding, and a purple belt can recognize the reward. A white belt, a blue belt, although it's challenging, maybe having a 6-person division is just as rewarding or almost as rewarding as a 10-person one. And for a child, it's a lot of matches for a child. You know, to have a 10 or plus, or even a 9 and plus in the division, that's a lot. I like to try and keep them small. The other thing is about keeping the division small is we don't have such a big difference in age, weight, and skill. So by keeping it to a 4-person division, we can have weight classes that are much smaller, sometimes as little as 1 pound, which is awesome. When you start stretching it out to a 9-person division, sometimes that weight spans 20 pounds. And specifically when I'm doing divisions, I think a kid's the most. 20 pounds for a kid is a ridiculous amount of weight to be given up. If you're a 60 or 70 pound kid and the other kid is 90 pounds plus, that's rough. That's like a quarter of your weight that you're giving up. I'm a 230 pound guy, me going up against a 300 pound black belt. I'm not gonna be very excited about that. So it's just something to keep in mind when you're doing divisions. If you have any questions at the tournament, flag me down. And I know I'm busy. I'm always running around doing stuff. Occasionally you might actually see me. I'm getting a lot better at delegating people out to take over the responsibility of other jobs, and they're doing fantastic work at it. So you might see me with a camera in my hand. Flag me down. I'm more than happy to talk to you and ease your concerns, or just help you understand what's happening at the tournament. I definitely want people to have a good experience. So if there's something not working out well, or you don't understand it, please let me know. And if you're nice with your questions, I'll be more than happy to answer. We have a lot of volunteers at their tournament, and occasionally wrong names get written down, and it's hard, it's confusing sometimes. You're more than welcome to come and help out at the scorekeeper table if you want to learn how the brackets work and help be part of the solution and make things better. That's great. If you have your child or your competitor, and occasionally it happens where your guy or your person might have won, but you see them fighting someone that lost, just flag down the referee, or if you can, me. I know it's always a little bit difficult to do that sometimes, and just ask, could I see what just happened, because my person won, but now they're fighting someone that lost. Is everything working out? Occasionally it happens where someone gets the wrong name written down, confusion. No one really knows all the people, so they might write the wrong person's name by accident. So if that happens, I'm sorry. I have seen it happen a few times at tournaments, so it's something that gets corrected right away if we can do it. Sometimes it means adjusting the division and rerouting it. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. It's myaklik@aroshido.com, which I'll put the little email address down there. If anything about brackets you have questions, feel free to ask. And if there's something else, please ask, because I'd love to make everyone's experience a lot better. And a lot of it comes down to communication. And I'm sorry I haven't put something like this out here before. If you're looking for other information like rules, we have a whole set for rules. Like, how do you get points for takedowns? How do you get points for sweeps? What passes, or what do you need for passes or submissions to count for? How do you count for advantages and penalties? What doesn't count for some escapes or some passes? So we have a whole set of videos. Check that out in our playlist. They're relatively short videos, and they're broken down to each section. So that's a very, very helpful, useful tool for parents, coaches, and competitors. That's really going to make the day much more enjoyable for you. So I hope you enjoy this, and I'll see you at Mind Body Soul. We've got it coming up June 16th, so we'll see you soon.